To help you understand the benefits of utilizing automation on import, I'm going to be walking through an example use case in this video. That is, we have a group of new customers that just onboarded and we're wanting to upload them into our Notion databases and have some tasks taken care of for us. For this example, here's a list of the companies that we're going to be uploading into our Notion databases. And you can notice that we have the company and the main contact together. This is very common. Businesses sometimes have their data put together on the same sheets, whether they're in Google Sheet or Excel. So I'm going to show you a way that you can leverage Notion automation to help separate the two and take advantage of the benefits of relational databases in Notion. For this use case, we're going to assume that we're a social media content creation company and we're wanting the following to be taken care of. We're going to have the main contact created automatically and tied to their respective company. When that company is created through the import, we're also wanting a task to be generated to retrieve the YouTube log information, Facebook, and X as well. And then we're going to have a task automatically generate 7 days from the contact creation date to schedule a meeting with the main contact from that company in order to discuss their social media strategy. The first automation we're going to build is when there is a company imported, we want to create that contact in the contact database. So I'm going to come here and hit the lightning bolt, which is where you can create automation in your Notion databases. And we always want to make sure we're giving names to our automations so we easily recognize them. So I'm going to name this one Customer Onboarding Import Process. And the trigger is going to be when page is added and relationship equals customer. We want to make sure we have all here instead of any, so that both of these criteria need to be met in order for the automation to be fired. It's important to put these two triggers together so that we're not firing the automation when we're entering a company into our company database that isn't a customer. Next, the action is going to be add page to. And what we're going to do is we're going to find our contacts database, and then we're going to start pulling over some properties from our import and use them to create the contact. So for name, what we're going to do is come in and select edit as formula, trigger page, dot, and then go ahead and find main contact name. We also have the email in the title in our import. So then we're going to come to email, select that, trigger page, dot, main contact email, save, and then job title, same type of process, trigger page, dot, main contact title. Now we filled in the important fields to recognize a contact in our contact database, but we haven't added in the ability to be able to tell exactly who they work for. So to do that, we're going to edit property and we're going to look at the company database, and we're then going to select trigger page because the company that we're importing is going to kick off the creation of the contact, and then we want to make sure that we create that relation as well. Okay, now we've finished building the first part of our process. Now let's move on to creating those tasks in order to retrieve the social media information. So we're going to create a new add action, and this time we're going to add pages to the task database. Okay, and then for this first one, we're going to do retrieve YouTube login as the title for that task. Then let's make sure that we're relating it to the company. So we're going to come again and we're going to select trigger page. Then let's set the assignee. And for this assignee, let's say that it's always one individual on your team who's doing the process of getting that information. You can go ahead and set them there, or you can do it dynamically based on the owner if you're doing that on your import. But to keep it simple for now, we're just going to do it as myself. Let's go ahead and assign the status of not started. And then by completing that first task automation, we have made a template that's very easy for us to go off of and make creating this automation faster. So all we need to do here, because this is going to be similar to the Facebook login and the X login, we hit the 3 circles, and then we're going to do duplicate. And we just simply replace each one with the respective social media. Now let's take care of our final step of the process, which is to create a task with the contact that we created up here. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit duplicate. And instead of test companies, we're going to select test contacts. And because we created this earlier in the automation, we have the ability to select it. See, it says page added in step 1. This is our very first step. So Notion gives us the ability to do this quite easily, utilizing automation. We're going to rename this to discuss social media strategy. But then we're going to add in something a little more complex that's going to allow us to set this due date 7 days from today. So I'm going to hit edit property and we're going to do due, hit the select, and then we're going to create a custom formula. And to set a due date from 7 days from today, we're going to utilize the function date add. And whenever you're on a function in Notion, you're able to see the syntax over here. So we can see that the formatting is the date, the number you want to increase it by, and then the unit. So for this scenario, we're going to utilize today. This today function does exactly what it says. It just pulls today's date for you. Then we're going to do a comma. And then we want the due date to be 7 days from today. So we're going to hit 7, comma, and then in quotes, put in days as our unit of metric. Then we're going to hit save. And one last thing, now that I'm thinking about it, it actually probably makes sense to tie this social media strategy task to the company as well. So we're going to do that here. So we're just going to do trigger page so that we're having it both tied to the company and contact. So when we click into those records, we can see them in both places. Before I hit enable and import some data, I just want to give you one last little tidbit, which might be a little too advanced for the purposes of this video, but want to make sure that you know it's out there and let us know if you want to create a video on it. But the final part of this process could be to send a webhook, and you could utilize a software like Zapier or Make so that when you upload a customer into Notion, that you're also triggering things in other softwares that your team might be using. I'm now going to select enable. For this import, we're going to be utilizing our tool Spaceloadr, which makes importing data into Notion easier than ever. But know that you can also utilize Notion's native import capabilities to trigger automation. So I'm going to select login, select the pages that I want to give it access to, which the databases are in my private underneath this page called Utilizing Notion Automation on Import. I'm going to allow access. I'm then going to select the company's database, which I'll be uploading into. Select next. Choose the file off of my system that we got from that Google Sheet. Next. And then I'm going to map these properties. One last final step before we import is we need to choose a duplication check, which basically just makes sure that we're not creating duplicate records if we're importing into a database that already has data. So I'm going to select website for this scenario and then select import. Now let's go over to Notion to see if our companies were uploaded and all the automation was successfully kicked off. Okay, here we go. So we have the list of 10 companies. We can see that there was a relationship created with contacts for each one, and that there was a variety of tasks automatically generated. So we have that retrieve YouTube login, retrieve X, social media, and Facebook, and then discuss that social media strategy. Coming down to contacts, you can see we successfully filled in email and job title, related their company, and then for test tasks, you can also see that data there. So there you go. There's a quick example of how you can use Notion automation on import. I hope this video inspires you to use it more often and use it for a variety of use cases, whether it's for customer onboarding or uploading a certain type of project, or it even could be for things that you're doing for your personal life on Notion as well. If you enjoyed this video, it helps us out a lot if you give us a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more Notion content just like this.